You're on splash page. Okay, stop, Leo. Damn it.
He pushed the button.
He pushed the goddamn button.
I did.
We're going to ludicrous speed.
Seriously. We went to plaid.
Hey, this is Jeremy Adams, and you're on Splash Pages.
It's true.
Is the one obvious thing.
What's wrong with him?
His girl just broke it off.
It's her father. He doesn't want her dating a zombie.
Why? What are they, demons?
She is predeceased.
An outsider?
Mm-hmm.
Man, you're asking for trouble.
She broke my heart.
You're a zombie. Technically, you don't even have a heart.
After all of the great cinema that we brought to the world, and we still get no respect.
I don't know why he doesn't like me. I'm responsible. A full-time job.
You work at a haunted house in October.
I'm trying to be healthy. She's a vegan, so...
Wait, you're giving up meat?
Oh, come on.
What are you gonna do? Attack a farmer's market to try to impress her?
Now, if he was a vampire, he'd have a much better chance with her death.
Yeah, those pretty bastards.
I didn't think this would be that hard.
Hard? Man, I'm a zombie and I'm black.
Here we go.
I blame the educational system.
I blame the media.
I blame George Romero.
Oh. How could you be so disrespectful?
Coffee?
Zombies don't know much, but they do know good coffee. Deadly Grounds. It's coffee to die for. And zombie approved.
Who's George Romero?
Just have some coffee.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an amazing show scheduled for you. A ton of people already watching, and we have an amazing guest. We have a lot of questions already. So, you know what? Just forget about me. We'll go on to Carrie. How's it going, Carrie?
Going great, Leo. I told Radatoska that we were going to be talking about Aquaman tonight, and he's insisted that because this is the color aqua, that's what he's going to drink. This is how particular he is about his bevs. But yeah, we have a lot of questions, guys. We have people that have already been lining up asking. Hi, Dylan. And we got a bunch of questions from Reddit too. So I'm just going to kind of be sitting there being everybody else's filter. Yeah, so that's all I got. I'm just going to be like, reading out all your stuff. Really excited. You got some good stuff. We can good job.
Hey, I'm a Jeremy, and we're here to see a Jeremy. So let's go check out Drew so we can get to Jeremy.
Yes, thank you, everybody, for joining us in the Danger Zone, or as we like to call it, the Jeremy Zone, because there's two of them now. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us at Splash Pages. We have an absolutely fantastic show. One of my personal favorites because I've got to interview him, and it happened more than once, and he still came back. So either he's a glutton for punishment or we're really that good. The jury's still out on the decision making there. So if you've been reading a lot of DC, you've been seeing his work. He was killing it on the Flash. He's been killing it on the Green Lantern Corps. He's definitely slaying it with Aquaman. And if you've even seen, he even did a pretty great job with the Flash Fantastic Four crossover. And on top of that, he's also an accomplished screenwriter, where his work has been on Supernatural, the Green Lantern animated series. I'm sure there's some Lego movies and a lot of Scooby-Doo. He has been described as the Mikey Likes It of comics, the Larfleeze of Costco Pizza, the one, the only, the absolutely hilarious Jeremy Adams.
Yeah! I cannot
They're going
believe
nuts.
your opening is fantastic. Number one. Number two, Jeremy Jar Jar. That background,
It used to be so much better.
Dude,
like it used to be full of comic books and stuff. But
like 2001 Space Odyssey, but with
thank you.
It's amazing.
If I put it on blur, it looks like I'm running really fast.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah, man.
Awesome. What a great.
But Jeremy, I need to say, man, I was listening to our panel that we did in last year's Terrificon, and it was just absolutely makes me laugh. Just the back and forth, just going over everything. I mean, everyone here was there, so it definitely wasn't just I imagined it, some sort of fever dream of Terrificon, but that was just amazing and fun story. That was my second panel I ever did.
Oh, that's great. Well, great job. Shoot.
Thank you, man. And then every time, like, I got to see, like, we got to interview you again at Terrificon at our booth. That was amazing. And then I got to see you in New York.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And it just, every time, man, it's just always such a delight. You're just a live wire of a human being. And
thank you. And Terrificon was, dare I say, terrific. That was the first time I was there, and that was pretty great. That was pretty great to meet.
Oh, you got to come back. It's fantastic like that.
Oh,
yeah.
All these
it's
like
comics.
Yes, and like I always describe myself as Chris Farley in that SNL sketch that I'm always just walking. You remember that time that you did the thing? It's terrible. It's terrible. I have no shame.
It's so funny you say that, because literally when we're doing the show, that's how I feel of this. Like, I'm very much the Lottie freaking die. Like,
yeah.
Just at any point I was like, you're going to be living in a comic shop that's going to be adjacent to some place down by the river. I'm like, oh,
funny.
So,
are you coming back to Terrificon this year?
I wasn't invited this year, and that's fine. I'm not going to harbor any. No, just kidding. I'm going to MegaCon next week, and then I'm going to head off to C2E2 the week after.
Damn.
For sure, I'll be at the Mothership San Diego. I go there every year, and then probably New York. So those are so far. Those are the only 4 that I have scheduled.
Oh, well,
it seems like a pretty light schedule for
it's
somebody
pretty.
that's
You've
so
got a lot to do,
on
man.
comics right now.
Juggling a lot of books.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask. Do you sleep?
I like.
But you drink 9 Red Bulls.
Well, I used to. Now it's just. I push myself. I actually want them to give me more. Like in December, I think they had. I was like, they gave me like 3 crossovers with DCKO. And it was so random. I think it was like by the end of November, they were like, hey, you want to do boss battle? Hey, you want to do Kids Are Fight? They were like, I'm like, yeah, I'll do everything. Just whatever. Just hand it to me, And, and then that was like, I got to get it all done along with my monthlies. Oh, shoot,
Right.
How many books are you juggling right now?
I'm only doing 2. Because I'm off Flash Gordon. It's done. I have just Aquaman and Green Lantern proper. I pitched a bunch of stuff that I'm hoping will get some traction, and I think I have some one-shots that I'm trying to do that will tie into some of the other books.
Right.
But we'll see. I'm always open to anything, honestly. I really am.
Well, and that's funny because I didn't realize this because I was doing the research, because we talked about that. And I didn't realize this, and if you wouldn't mind talking about it a little bit, like your first DC pitch was a Batwing book, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, for those that don't know, like I grew up just absolutely adoring comics for forever. My dad had drawn a few comics when I was a kid, but my parents were divorced when I was around 5. So obviously, psychologically, I was just trying to be, get my dad's love from afar, right? Anyways, I'd always wanted to be into comics, but I went into film and television because there was more of a path, because I had no idea how to get into comics.
Right.
And eventually I was working at a toy company called Jack's Pacific, and I was a assistant there. And I had already written Green Lantern the animated series, at least the 2 episodes, but when you write animation, you turn it in, and then you're like 2 years later, I hope I can see this episode.
Right.
So while I was there, I was going to New York for the first time and with my wife, and we had a person that said, "Oh, I know a guy that works at Marvel Comics. Would you want a tour?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, this is the dream. I could go to New York the first time and have a tour of Marvel Comics. Are you kidding me?" And oh, his name is Mike Martz. I'm like, "Okay." And they gave me an email introduction, and the plan was set that I was going to have a tour of Marvel. And I got to New York, and he said, "Sorry, it's not going to work out. You don't get a tour of Marvel." And I was disappointed, but also I had his email, so that was where
right.
I'm like, "How's it going? Is there anything you need? Blah 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 blah. If you're ever in town, you should meet me so you know I'm not crazy." And,
right.
And so we kind of
to give that disclaimer too.
Totally. I tried to be cool about it, and I just met him and kind of developed a friendly relationship over time. I had those credits for Green Lantern, so it wasn't like I had nothing.
Right.
And I had started writing for another show for this toy company. And at one point he said, "I would love for you to pitch on something. It's a Batwing." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, sure." And I pitched this whole thing about Batwing basically being framed for murder, and like punches Batman in the face and takes off on the run. And all of the Bat family is trying to hunt him down. And the idea behind it for me was, we have to separate him from being like War Machine, somebody that is, it's like, what makes him different and better besides he has a Bat moniker? And it was like, who is this character as he goes around? But then he's being chased by everybody.
Right.
I lost out to some guy named Warren Ellis. I don't know. I don't, so, first time, no comic book writer. And but that was my first pitch, my first comic book pitch.
And here you are.
And here I am. Yeah. Years later.
Who ends up catching, if anybody, in your story, just because it's not being done?
Right.
Who ends up does anybody catch
he ends up, no one catches him. He ends up having, like, each issue would be an altercation with another Bat family member, and you would see how he would get out of it, what he would use in order to make him different, and then you would figure out who actually committed the murder, and then and then everybody would come behind him. And it was just, again, it was just a way to make sure that he is separate from Bruce and that contingent, and just to try to make him his own whole character is how I looked at it. But then it was like, it was another, like 10 years before I got my first comic, it was a long time.
And like I said in my intro, like you were, as you referenced this in other interviews, like you're the Mikey likes it of comics. So if you get a taste for it, you'll say yes to anything. That's like, you did an episode, you did an issue of Batman Brave and the Bold that had Jackson Hyde and Miss Martian, and you're like, oh, these are cool. And then I think you'd mentioned the Blue, and it was like, yeah, you should pitch that as an Aquaman book, and here you are.
Oh yeah. So they were like, "Hey, you have any ideas?" And I pitched them the idea, and they were like, "That's too big. That's too big for this." I was like, "Oh, is it?" They go, "You should pitch that as an Aquaman." I'm like, "I will do that right now." And as I text my editor on Green Lantern, and he was like, "Holy crap, I was just thinking you'd be perfect for the Aquaman book." I was like, "Okay." And so, and then we rolled into it. And Aquaman has been such a unique experience because, listen, I'm like this as a fan, that I don't like change. I don't like, lots of things. I remember at the end of Angel, when Angel aired, I was like, "Give me that postcard." I was so mad. I was like, "Let's start a petition. Let's bring it back." And so when, it's interesting because comic books are monthly and you have to spread them out over months. So you're trying to tell a story for a significant amount of time. And the amount of social media abuse I got, like, "You killed Mara, you should die." I'm like, just give it time. Like, if you know me, you know that I care for all characters, but it kind of came around, and people people seem to have gravitated to it, and it's been a fun book that I can kind of go a little bit crazy with. And the thing is, he's so powerful now, and I keep making him more powerful, and I'm going to keep making him more powerful until the editor says you have to stop. And so far they haven't. So
well, and then because we last month we had on your collaborator on that, John Timms, and he's the nicest person for someone who just draws like, and it was amazing the amount of things you throw at him, and he's just, I want to do the Nautilus.
There's something in the water in Costa Rica. Yeah, man. Like, they're all nice. Dan Moore, all those guys are super nice. Like, they're really nice. They're nice, and they're unbelievably talented. Like, I work with Will Conrad, I think he's in Brazil, and you've got John Timms, who's killing it. The guys in Spain, Germanico, who might be the best artist right now, period. And it's funny. It's like, when he's been doing Green Lantern with me, and he had done Flashpoint Beyond with us, and we all looked at him, we're like, this guy's unbelievable. And I knew, I was just like, they're stupid if they don't take him away from me, like as quick as possible. Like, his talent is so much better than my writing. I would be like, this guy needs to be on a Bat book or a Superman book, like ASAP. Or Marvel would be smart, just throw money at him to be on X-Men because he's so good.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, they've been trying to get me to move off this book for a long time, but I said no. I was like, great. Yeah. So we had that. That doesn't mean he's not going to move on in the future, but it was like, man, I'm on issue 37 of Green Lantern, which, a couple years ago when I first started, when I did the backups for Future State, and they had given me Flash, they had given me, Mike Cotton, and said, you have any ideas for a comic? I'm like, bro, I'm a nerd of a certain age. I have all the ideas for all the ideas. And they're like, you can take over the Flash. And it was like, that's it. Okay. And, Warner Brothers was in a bit of upheaval, but they had basically told me no one lasts on a book more than 12 issues. And I remember thinking in my head, we'll see about that, and I'd already started planning. I was like 35. I was like, we're going to get to issue 800, and I was like, I'm going to get Josh to write something and Mark to write something and Jeff Johns to write something. And I remember like a year in, I was like, we should start thinking about 800. They're like, that's like 2 years away. I'm like, yeah, but you never know. And they didn't think I could get Mark or Jeff to do anything. And they were the easiest. They're like, yeah, let's do it. Oh, sure. I was like,
oh, sweet.
Dream.
So, Carrie, did we, since we're on Aquaman, are there any Aqua questions?
Well, there is one that came in.
Cool.
And we need to hit the ones on Reddit as well.
Yeah.
So Spader 2692 is saying, hey, Jeremy, do you plan on bringing back some old Aquaman villains like the Eel?
Boy, do I plan on bringing back some old Aquaman villains. If you're reading the book now, one of the crazy things as a writer, when you dive into a character that's been around for so long, it's like no one had ever named or seen Mera's mother. And it was just like the most ripe thing ever as a comic book writer. You're like, wait, never? Like I get to actually like create that and explore that. Is super fun. And all I can say is there will be some old villains and new villains. And I think it'll be a really cool, I know exactly where I'm going with Aquaman.
I'm kind of impressed that nobody had ever written about Mera's mom before. I'm like, I'm not a huge like Aquaman fan, so I don't know his entire back catalog and stuff.
No, it's true. If you think about it, like impressive. Peter David, the great Jeff Johns. Yeah. No one. It's real.
No one. Even Mera's mom, and they talked about Zebel and all that stuff. But for whatever reason, I mean, Mera's dad, but they didn't talk about her mom. And I was just like, this is crazy. And listen, I mean, I was totally ready to be wrong about that, but I had all the Aqua nerds at DC Comics. I'm like, you guys got to find it, So but it's been really, really cool to.
Does that mean that technically Mera is like a DC Disney princess, right?
Yeah.
Dad, mom is gone mysteriously.
Right. So she just needs a pet crab to sing along with her. And
boom, easy. There you go. All right, Carrie, did you have any Aqua questions?
Oh, we have plenty of Aquaman questions here.
Oh boy.
All right, let's throw up here. The Distant Wave was curious if anyone had seen PD's thoughts on Aquaman and his original plans and goals for the character. He wanted to do something similar by making Arthur a water elemental connected to the clear.
Well, that makes me feel good because I love Peter David. When I was reading comics, it was the Hulk. It was right when Joe Fixit turned into the Green Hulk again, and I was like, "Who is this? Who's writing this? Like, this is bananas!" And it was absolutely solidly bananas, but really funny too. And then I had been reading all the Star Trek novels and X Factor, which is unreal. And
amazing.
He ended up introducing himself to us, me and my buddy Jim, when we had done the Supernatural thing. We were at a Supernatural mixer, and this little short guy comes up and he was like, "Hey, are you guys writers?" And we're like, "Yeah." And we're like, and he goes, "I'm a writer too." And we're like, "Sure you are." And then he's like, I'm Peter David. And we both go, "Peter David?" Like, it was straight out of and immediately we're like, "Let's buy him a drink." And we like sat him down. And as he kept trying to pitch us Supernatural pitches, which were like, you know, we were freelance writers at the time. We had no power, but I just like, "Tell me about Trancers 4. Like, tell me," like, I just kept picking his brain over everything.
Right.
I didn't know that about Aquaman, him wanting to push him into the elemental space, which is cool because the way I was looking at it, I had done some of the green stuff in Green Lantern with the Floronic Man. Originally, Floronic Man was going to be in there as one of the last of the new Guardians from the Millennium era. Right. And then I had been doing a lot with Maxine, who is kind of the avatar of the red. And so it's one of those things that you're like, "So we've never done the blue? Like, that's not a thing? We haven't done the blue?" And everybody's like, "No." And I'm like, "Okay, well, we're doing the blue now." You know,
here we go.
Water being an elemental force, it's pretty cool. But if I'm on the same wave with Peter David, then I feel golden, because that guy, I don't know if you guys ever read his X Factor run, but it has one of the most twisted issues I've ever seen in comics. That is so heartbreaking and messed up that they probably would never let us do today.
Ever.
And I just remember thinking like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's a genius."
You know, everything. Like, again, and I own his whole run. It's all signed by him, and it's like stored away safely. And I've just, anytime I'm like, "Oh yeah, you want to read a team book? X Factor." Why? It is the most realistic story possible of what real people would be like with superpowers.
That's
idiots.
Great. Yeah, idiots. Yeah,
total idiots.
Great.
Carrie, anything else?
Oh, plenty. Yes.
Okay, good. I didn't know if there's gonna be a drought here.
Yeah.
A drought. I'll let you know when I'm done.
Oh boy.
Okay. Distant Wave, I think my only major question is Arian and the Dark World. Will we see Arian lore played with like the Dark World, Calcula? I'm sure I butchered that, and Magistra.
So the thing about Arian is, I'm keeping it purposely vague so I can catch up on Arian. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Like, there's certain things that there's so much lore and there's so much in it that you have to. I knew that I wanted to bring him back because I had, you know, over the years he's shown up every once in a while, and he's such an integral part of the Aquaman universe. And in my mind, part of this run and part of the thing that I love being able to do as a you know, a lot like lifetime fan of comics is they're letting me play with a lot of different toys. Right. And I'm digging in the toy box and I'm like, "Well, are you using this one?" And it's like, "No." "Okay, great. I'm going to use this one," you know. And with Arian, it's a little bit of, in my mind, that he is having this very like almost a mirror image of the Justice League a little bit. You have your magic user and you have your kind of mechanical guy and you have your combat person and then you have, you know, Zan, you know, but it's like with Arian, I do want to get deeper into it. I just only have so many pages and I don't want to depart so much from Aquaman, but I have a lot for them to do. Like there's an issue I want to do with Arian, Garth, and Aquaman where it's more a magic centered issue, which I think would be cool, because I think as Garth learns more and more magic, having somebody that's basically created some of that as kind of a mentor type role might be really interesting.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you don't know a Spider-Man 3, your story. Just way too many villains.
I know.
Too many characters.
Yeah.
All right, what else, Carrie?
speaking of villains, and this is
boy.
originally in Portuguese,
Yeah.
Battle Long
Wow.
Jumping 132 from Reddit would like to ask, if possible, it would be interesting to ask if he thinks Aquaman should have more female villains.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Lolana, who's Mira's mother, is going to be kind of the ultimate female villain right now.
Nice.
And she has this very deep, abiding hatred of Atlantis, and it's funny because they always say if you can have a villain that has kind of a point of view that you can understand, which is mine is kind of the Monty Python, the Holy Grail, where they're like, just because some watery tot throws a sword out of the lake doesn't mean give you the right, And she's just like, why are these people that are the bloodline get to be kings? Like, that's weird, And so I think we all go, yeah, that is weird. So yeah, but it's kind of like use that as a wedge to gain power, and now she's hell bent on revenge, and it's very like Zod, right? Like, I will kill you, Jor-El. You and your heirs.
And speaking of like a way that you turned a character that really wasn't being used was the mermaid,
right?
For the
Laurie Lemire.
Exactly. Like, and then again, like you said, like, when was the last time you saw her? And people forget, like, that was a legit relationship that Superman had. He was in love with the mermaid, and someone's like, when? I was like, it was a dark time in the Golden Age.
No, we were doing that, and like, it was funny because she was in a wheelchair with just like a blanket over her flipper. But I remember I was like, oh yeah, my editor was like, what if we used her? He's cool. And then he must have gone over to Mark and said, hey, we're using her here, so you should use her in World's Finest, because they had done like a month before, they had done a older version. Right. And then the Lady in the Lake, there was a version of Lady in the Lake. I had a much more kind of high fantasy take on the Lady of the Lake. And I wanted her to be able to build a new sword for Aquaman. And because also I have this time bandit in Green Lantern that has Excalibur right now. Right. And again, no one's stopping me, guys. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to do this and do that.
And that's Odyssey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, which again I remember from our panel, wasn't that like that was your kid was like, should be a time bandit? And
I was like, originally I was going to have this kind of not love triangle, but Superboy. Paul, my editor, was like, hey, we should have, we were planning on putting Kyle in kind of the backup, like doing a backup story, just woven in between the Hal story. And he's like, what if we brought like Superboy or something? And I was like, well, if we bring Superboy, can we bring Wonder Girl? Because I was like, I'm all about the romance, whatever. And and so Fernando drew this like thirst trap picture of Superboy. And it was supposed to, because it was supposed to be Wonder, like these exes are supposed to see each other. And it was supposed to be, oh my gosh. And then we found out we couldn't use Wonder Girl. And we're like, what? No. We've got this really like sexualized picture of, Superboy without his shirt and rain coming down. And now it's just kind of weird. But I was like, okay, I got to come up with another character. And that actually comes into play with writing. Sometimes you find out people have dibs, or people are like bookmarking characters, so you can't use them. So I found it's kind of better just to make new characters, and so I was trying to figure it out. And my oldest daughter from the back seat was like, she should just be a time bandit, Dad. Stealing stuff throughout time. I'm like, yes, ma'am. That fits right into my whole Gold Beetle saga that I've got going on in my head. So yeah, it was great.
That's how somebody gets an extra snack, or perhaps a milkshake. Like, we're gonna reward for good thoughts there.
She wrote an issue of The Flash with me.
Oh my God, really?
Like, she was like, dude, that's awesome. 8 or 9. I don't know. It was the one where it's a father and daughter dance.
Okay.
I brought out the whiteboard and I showed her how I break it, and she drew all these characters, and we sent to the artists, and they did the artist, and I paid her. And then immediately my youngest daughter comes in. She's like, well, what about me? And I'm like, well, wait a couple years, But my youngest daughter, she's definitely was the one who wanted me to bring an axolotl into Green Lantern. So it was like Happy the axolotl, that was like the happiness emotion. And he's still out there somewhere, but that was straight up my other daughter, like, well, we need an axolotl. I'm like, okay.
So before we jump,
yes,
do all your kids enjoy comics?
No. I mean, they will read.
One of my kids like comics.
No, they'll read a lot of kind of like they would read the Superhero Girls was kind of a good gateway drug to try to get them into it. And now they're kind of more on sophisticated. Like my oldest is going to be 13 soon. So I'm actually going to give her, I can't give her mine because it's ripped to shreds, but I think I'm going to give her the Dark Phoenix saga and be like, if you like this, you might like some of these other curated comic books. With some of them, it's hard to find an entry point and figure out. I've given them different comics over time, and they're like, yeah, they're pretty cool, but they'd rather read Dogman, they'd rather read, some of the other stuff.
Of course.
But that's partly because it's, I'm so engrossed with it, right? Like you can't.
Oh, absolutely.
I try not to force them because I really want them to come to it on their own.
That's funny because in one of the shows, I was like, I've equated that when you're a comic fan, you're essentially like a drug dealer because anytime I was like, oh, I want to get into comics. What do you want?
Yeah. Totally.
Like, you just open your trench coat, like Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, IDW, boom. I was like, just let me know what your flavor is, man.
And with them, I've kept one copy of every cover of every book I've ever done for them.
Oh, that's nice.
They may never want it, but hey, if they're hard up, maybe they can get 99 cents a book.
Yeah, right.
Right on
in life,
There you go. All right, Carrie, was there any? I hate asking this, but is there anything else?
Like I said, there are like 20 questions from Reddit. Half of them are for Aquaman.
So I'll be quiet. Let's do it, and I'll focus.
All right, I'm gonna combine these two because they kind of go off of each other. So Star Prince 007 and Ashram ask here. I'm gonna put it all together. Hi Jeremy, I'm loving the new run and focus on new existing members of Aquaman's Rogues Gallery. Can you confirm, and you already did just now, whether old favorites like Lorena will be showing up? Also, it appears you have an affection for the Wonder Twins. What about Zan and Janya appeal to you? Then we go, the next one is the Wonder Twins, where Zan is with Arthur and Janya is with Hal Jordan, hinting at an upcoming major intergalactic crossover? Also, tell them I want Jeff John's version of Topo back.
Damn. Okay.
That's funny. I grew up with the Super Friends with like a lot of people of my age. And it is one of those things where you have these characters, like I said, that no one's using. And I'm like, well, I'm going to use them. It's just a fun thing. And for Zan, it was just like, well, he turns to water. It seems appropriate. Like, obviously I was just appropriating all these, these water characters. Like, so it was fun to be able to go, well, he belongs with Aquaman now, and then what happens with my brain is then it spins off into another story. Like, well, where's Jaina? And it's like, okay, if you've read the last issue of Green Lantern, it's like Hal shows up in this other place and Jaina's there. And it's like, wait, what? So there's kind of a bigger story there, but it all comes out of that absolute power thing where people's powers got mixed up and kind of tweaked and whatever. And it gave me a chance to be like, okay, they don't have to Wonder Twins activate right now. And I think in my head, there's a bigger story there, but right now it's just fun to have a comedic sidekick or another character. In the case of Hal, it's more like he's the comedic sidekick to Jane. Like she's more of the straight woman than, but I love that design. I think they're really weirdo characters, but it's just fun to play with them. As far as the monkey, we'll see.
All right.
I zoomed in really quick because I just love that Hall of Justice behind you.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite Christmas present as a kid. I mean,
I thought that was a picture.
Oh no. And I have a bunch of old superpowers. They've been abused, but my kids still they're like, these are awesome. Like you squeeze their arms and their legs movement. I'm like, yeah, they don't make toys like this. This is awesome.
No,
right.
But the new McFarlane superpowers are really cool, even though they don't have the, all the stuff. They're well priced.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Sorry. Okay. Next. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Next, Blitzy says, for my question, a huge part of Aquaman's reputation revolves around his telepathy. At the start of All In, it seemed that he and Mira may have swapped abilities, but Mark Waid's Justice League Unlimited, and later on Adam's own title, it seems as if he still has it. Does Adams have any plans on using Arthur's telepathy? I've always found it to be one of the most compelling aspects of him.
Yes, and it depends on which version of telepathy you're talking about, because there are multiple versions that's actually telepathy, or it's actually almost like force pushing animals into something. And yes, but he's so overpowered now with his ability. I think maybe too powerful with his ability to control water and his connection to the blue, that the other stuff is almost dwarfed, but will still be like, I had him use it where he enacted revenge by pulling, allowing these other fish to come in and take out some people.
Yep.
We haven't seen the last of it. It's just, there's a lot going on. Again, I get so
lot going on in the
ADD,
blue,
like,
kids.
oh my gosh, I forgot, and I need it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so glad you, because that literally every time I see him using it, that's I have to do it out loud. Like, I'm like, it's way too much.
Gary, hit us again. Or go ahead, Leo.
Well, before you do, just want to say there are more questions on YouTube. We're going to bounce back and forth, but we're going to keep it on Aquaman right now. So Carrie, why don't you knock out the Aquaman questions? But I just wanted everybody to know we'll try our best.
We'll get to you.
Everybody.
We're doing our best, guys. We've only got him for so long, and his attention span is crazy. Respectfully.
You kind of hinted a little bit this here, but Infinite DD Kind Cuts would like to ask what goes into deciding which previous Aquaman arcs to reference and or connect back to. How much autonomy do you have on that front? For example, the existence of Aquaman's daughter, introduced in the Deconic run, is a pretty important plot point in this run. How much of that is a you thing, and how much of it is an editorial mandate?
So editorial mandates will be like, I'll say, can I do this? And they'll say no, or whatever. Interestingly, when I started writing the Flash with Wally, at the time, the mandate at the time was everything that happened kind of happened, and you can kind of pick and choose what's the real continuity, because DC has done the Etch-a-Sketch thing with their continuity so many times,
right?
And it's the same thing when like you read Peter David's Aquaman run. It's so far removed from Lighthouse Aquaman. It's raised with dolphins, falling in love with dolphins. You're like, what is happening? So a lot of times if I say, hey, I would love to bring, and I'll give you an example I try to do this all the time. I try to pull this trick all the time, and I either get away with it and then get yelled at, or I get stopped at the gate. And it's like in Green Lanterns, bring back Dan Garrett. That was a big thing I wanted to do. I was told yes, and then I was told no, but it didn't matter because that was already too late. And then in the Flash, I not only bring back Mr. Terrific's kid, but I brought back a couple other kids from other heroes, from other continuities. And I had a big kind of like story arc I wanted to do before I was let go from that book. And but we were kind of able to hand wave two of those characters away, but fair play still exists. So it was like weird compromise and trying to have a conversation about what we can and can't do. And I don't know if it's just up to editorial, like it's on a whim based thing. Sometimes I'm sure they know about things happening further down the field with other books potentially. They don't want to make a problem like, oh, if we bring her back, then Donna Troy has to address it, and this person doesn't want to address it. I don't know. I oftentimes try to build other stories. Like I have this ongoing subplot with Hawkman and Hawkgirl and Thanagar and Horus, but there's no Hawk book. I'm just trying to lay tracks so somebody can do one. In my mind, if you're not going to use them, I'm just going to have I kind of have an idea for Hawk and Dove. I kind of have an idea for different things that I've kind of like subtly place Easter eggs. And if you read all my books, you'll start to gather some of that. Gold Beetle was the perfect example of that was my River song. And I was telling that story out of order with Jay and her and Flash and Wally. And that was really fun too. But I have a lot of ongoing stories. But to answer the question, whatever the question was, yeah, I mean, it's mostly editorial kind of has the last say. I can try things, but they kind of have the last say.
Well, speaking of Aquaman and Hawkman, Midnight on the Moon. Sorry, Leo, but it just fits right in. Aquaman and Hawkman are my favorites. I do not mind seeing their friendship explored and them maybe going on some adventures together. Sky and Sea. I appreciate so much of Jeremy's runs on Aquaman and Green Lantern. I have really liked the twists and cannot wait to see what's in store with Aquaman, Mira, Garth, the Wonder Twins, Thanagar, etc. I guess if I had a question, it would be if there are any plans to have Garth and Dolphin get back together, or if their son Serdian, sorry.
Serdian.
You're
Serdian?
right.
Okay. is still alive, as he hints at in the Flash comic he did, but it seems like it has been retconned. I would like to know if he's going to have plans with that, because I thought it was a kind of great idea.
Yeah, I like the idea too, but it did seem like they kind of said, maybe not. I don't know the state of Dolphin. It's probably something I need to check on, because, I love digging up characters and just putting them back, and it's fun. I like trying to hammering in some sort of continuity through all the continuity shifts. All right, what else?
Okay. Landon Rogers would like to know, in the 2003 Aquaman run by Rick Fetch, Aquaman is given the water hand by Vivienne, the Lady of the Lake, who resides in the secret sea, a mystical realm of water connected to the life energy in the universe. In your run, Vivienne, the Lady of the Lake, lives in the blue, which made me wonder if the secret sea might be interpreted as a smaller or early manifestation of the blue.
I think that's a great idea. Let's just all agree that yes, we'll say that. It's funny, I didn't know.
We're on your side.
I didn't know they named the Lady of the Lake as Vivian in the old one. When I was just bringing in the Lady of the Lake, I was just thinking, oh my gosh, again, it was like Captain Nemo, Lady of the Lake, Zan, and I was like, what's you do your deep wiki leaks, wiki like dives into these characters, these mythological characters, and I was like, oh, there's a version of her named this. So if she was named that back in the day, then I feel like, oh, what a great confluence of events. It is a weird thing when you have characters that are around for so long, you can see different writers touching on different ideas, and they can be similar in vibe. I think I get very explicit with what I want to write about in terms of like, it's the blue and it's like this and it's like this. But that's not to say that, how many issues of Aquaman's been written? Something, of course somebody's going to bring in the Lady of the Lake. That's why I was so weird about Mira. But we'll just all say yes.
Yes.
All right, Landon, you got your answer. Okay, this is going to be the last one, because thank you for everybody who did write into Reddit, but some of these he's pretty much covered already in just his own stuff. Last question from Reddit for Arthurman, for Arthurman.
Arthurman. Even better.
Arthurman. You got to write that in sometime.
Fix the title.
All right, so Keeping It Weird says, Emperor Aquaman is an exciting new title for Aquaman, but considering today's political climate, it does carry certain negative connotation. Is this intentional? Will Arthur struggle with balancing his new power set and responsibility with his own ideas of rule versus alien culture's notion of being governed? Considering the Omega energy is at play here, I'm hoping that he is pulling all those alien worlds that are against the Omega under his protection. I look forward to every new issue. Thank you for your work and dedication to this character and his outrageous adventures into uncharted water. I'll own that bad pun.
All right, breathe, Carrie.
So
that's great. No, it's not it is more the Emperor aspect is how do I say this without spoiling anything? But like rolling out of DCKO, there's a lot of stuff that's going to change in the DCU. There's a lot of big moves and there's big problems. And which issue of DCKO is out? Is it finished?
I think it's done.
It's done. Okay, so people are going to have kind of visions of things, and so Aquaman is acting on his vision the best he knows how. Right. But also because of his connection to the blue, and also all the heroes knowing that, Darkseid may not be done. And what impending doom might be there. I think they're all kind of gathering their forces and trying to figure out, how do we stop this from happening? And though you have Green Lanterns out there, this is kind of another form of Arthur's making these lighthouses all around the universe. It's also me just doing Stargate Atlantis, but let's just forget that. No,
it's like favorite ones.
He's over there and he's making these things and he's trying to get more allies, but I can't tell you any more than that. Other than
that's fine. That's fine. We don't want to get you yelled at.
No. But Arthur is very much aware of where his power lies now, and he's also aware what he has to do to maintain the safety of Earth. That's all I can say.
Okay. Perfect.
Before we go back to the Reddit questions, just want to knock out YouTube really quick. There were some comments that came in also. Tony Dill 1360 says Dolphin had a major change under Dan Abnett. Exploring her light powers would be interesting.
That would be interesting, especially Dolphin and Dove has all these light powers from like the White Lantern stuff that we still use. Anyway, keep going. See, those are the connections I make in my head. Dolphin and Dove. What can we do there? Like,
writing it down. What else, Leo?
And just so you know, we have as much time as you want to give us tonight.
Right.
So it's not at an hour.
Yeah, we don't. You don't have to rush too much.
No. But if my kids come to my door and say, "Feed me, Father," I'll be like, "Well, I
gotta go."
So I saw this question. If they wanted me to do any absolute, I pitched a absolute title, but they're being very smart. First of all, they're getting much better writers to do them, and number two, they are. I think they're strategically trying to keep them at a high level. There was a version of me wanting to do something with this Aquaman into kind of an absolute Aquaman thing, but that kind of went by the wayside. But I think everybody's, they're working on all cylinders. They're doing great. I think DC's just doing great overall. It's been really fun to see everybody just have fun again, making books, and it's pretty accessible, and you have core line stuff, you have the DCKO craziness, you have the absolute books. It just seems like there's a little bit of something for everybody, which is really fun. And I love that. I love the fact I can open the book and there's not a Wikipedia page entry that I have to read in order to find out what's happening in the book titles. Cause that was some of the Marvel stuff. I was like, I love Marvel. I grew up on Marvel, but I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to start. Like, what's happening,
Yep.
Well, that's something I've been saying myself is a lot of people are getting lost on, the continuity, like Batman. I absolutely love Batman, but what's happened with Batman has absolutely gone bonkers. And I absolute Batman, just going into a fresh story where you don't need to worry about backstory. You don't need to know how did Alfred die? How did why did Batman lose his hand? What's the whole thing with space underwear? We don't need to discuss that.
We don't have questions.
Okay, going back to YouTube. Let's see. Matthew is saying, after writing Hal for so long, what is it like now having Kyle anchor the title? Does Kyle naturally lean into any different styles of storytelling that Hal as a lead character may struggle with?
What a great segue to Green Lantern.
Yeah, no, Kyle is much more Peter Parker-ish in my mind. He's an artist. He's not a flying hotshot airline, not airline pirate, hotshot airline pilot. Yes, I'm a spirits pilot. No, he doesn't have as much of an ego, though. I think he's very self-assured. I like the idea that he's a little younger. And he's also from LA, so we get to explore kind of the culture around where I lived. I live now, and Odyssey's with him right now, and there's some other fun to be had. But I think of him as here's an artist in a day and age where I feel like artists are getting short for shrift, especially with the ability to make art just by prompts. And I think that'll be interesting. I love, the best thing I can say is it's sort of Peter Parker-ish, but like when I moved to LA, I worked every odd job trying to pursue a dream. And so I don't think that's going to be any different for Kyle, is try to have a little bit more of a life rather than just serialized space drama. And I can only hold that for so long. Like, I'm doing these kind of one-off episodes that are really fun and interesting, but the call to super serialized storytelling also drifts in from the cosmos. So I have stuff going on with Hal in the background that's not going to be the main focus, but I think will get louder and louder as the series goes on. And with Kyle, there's going to be more things that start happening around the globe as a result of DCKO that he's going to have to deal with. But right now, the big headline is that the science cells were basically emptied out during when Morgan and I did our last run with Green Lantern Corps and Green Lantern to help them fight space vampires, and so now some of them are in and around LA. So Kyle's down there trying to hunt them down along with whatever other creepy things. So it's much more kind of TV episodic, you know, kind of fun, procedural a little bit. Sure. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Kyle's an interesting, fun character, and it always takes me a little bit to lock into him, but I'm having a fun time with him so far.
Nice.
Awesome.
Follow up from
go for it, Carrie.
Nope,
That's
I was
fine.
on the same one as you. You do it.
Yeah. So Matthew says also, will we see Radu, his old landlord and owner of Radu's coffee shop, since Kyle is back on Earth? Maybe it took off as a brand and now it's like a Starbucks or Pete's of DC.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I wasn't planning on it, but maybe I'll just steal that, even though I just said it now. So now you can sue me. So I can't steal it, but let's just say, no, it wasn't a plan of mine, but that's a good idea.
Yeah. It's always nice to see those kind of references. Yeah. Or what else, Leo?
I believe that's it through YouTube. Carrie.
Okay. So, the Goofomaniac, I believe, with Kyle taking over as focus of the Green Lantern tile, what's Hal's significance going to be in the near future? Can we expect like backup stories with Hal, sporadic appearances? Basically, if you're only interested in Hal, will Green Lantern be worth the $5 each month?
Well, I mean, only you can make that decision. But Hal has how do I put this? It's like I'm focusing on Kyle's, but Hal's story is going to be so massive that I would hate for you to not fall along with it. But I get it. People are in two different camps. You know, it's the Barry Wally thing. It's the Hal Kyle conundrum. And we've been having Kyle in the background. We've been doing, 30 plus issues with Hal centric. So to me, it's like, okay, we can shift focus for a bit on Kyle. And, but that doesn't mean, all I can tell you is that Hal's story is a much bigger story. And I'm going to be giving it in dribs and drabs until it ends up being so loud it takes the book back over. So I don't know, but it's up to, I can never tell anybody like, well, how much is Hal's going to be? Is it going to be worth the book? I don't know if it's going to be worth the book, man. Like I can't answer that for you.
All right. Nice.
Just say yes.
Just say it. Just buy it.
Just buy it.
Goodness sake, I need to.
What else are you going to spend that money on?
Yeah, I need to eat, sir.
I mean,
madam.
Maybe a gallon of gas, but
yeah, exactly. If that.
We've already gotten through some of these.
Yeah.
Do you have some?
Yeah, I have some more. So why don't you go through yours? Just figure out what you have next.
Yeah,
but Matthew followed up, and actually I think a couple other YouTube came in with the use of Kyle's White Lantern form as an anime manga style power up, as well as Omega Bam Man. Is there a scope to explore these bombastic fun elements, maybe in its own spinoff? And about stealing the idea, he says you can have it.
Oh, that's very kind. I've been trying. The only reason that I was able to do the Omega Bam Man spinoff one shot is because I'd pitched like a 6-issue Omega Bam Man. It's like, you got it, and the response was, no one will want to read this, and I'm like, you don't know, I really want that. There's gonna be more Omega Bam Man at some point. The White Lantern stuff will show up, but the White Lantern stuff is very much, for those familiar with The Last Starfighter, it's the Death Blossom. It's like if he expends it, he's just going to be, so he doesn't use it as much as maybe you would think you'd want to. And also you use it and then suddenly everybody knows who you are, and a naked dude, no, not that. But there's gonna be more to do with that stuff. Okay. I just get so excited about the issue I'm on. I often forget about some of the things I plan on doing. I'm like, oh gosh, I got to do that thing. 16 issues in.
Yeah, 16 issues later.
Tomb Raider is asking Jeremy, any thoughts on the new Teen Titans announcement? Has anyone asked you yet?
I'm assuming he's something. What about it? That I'm not writing it and I'm bitter? No, just kidding. I'm excited for any young heroes. Obviously, those that have been following my work know that I was trying desperately to start a kind of kids team. Like when I started at DC, I just noticed there's just a huge lack of kid superheroes and kid superhero teams, like whether it was Young Justice or Teen Titans in that way. And I was trying to build one. I was trying to backdoor pilot that thing, you know, with Maxine and Jay and Irie and even the Super Sons from another universe, so I didn't interfere with their plans for Super Sons. I was like, I'll just do it myself. But yeah, they didn't seem to want that from me. So I don't know what to tell you. Thanks for bringing up a sore subject. No, just kidding. I'm not sore about it. I'm excited. I think Kyle Higgins is doing it, right? And I love Kyle. And Kyle's got, you know, Mr. Radiant Black and the Batman book he's doing. So he's been at this way longer than I have. So I'm sure it'll be cool.
There you go.
I think we missed a couple Aquaman questions. Let me know if we went through these already.
I see one. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Jeremy. I loved how you're making Aquaman so strong, but every hero needs a villain just as strong. Any hints about what we can expect from Black Manta? Could he
telling you this question? Just forget this question. Could you spoil this book for the next 12 months? No, I'm not going to.
And he says,
all the Black Manta stuff, you guys, I'm not telling you, wouldn't want to know anyways, right? Seriously.
Yeah,
they're trying to save the $5, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Tell you what, just email me the whole plot.
Excuse me, everyone. This is Splash Pages, not Bargain Buddies. Okay, calm down.
Yeah, I think you guys, it's been a long time, so that's all I gotta say.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, and there was a couple other Black Manta, like how Black Manta.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, you gotta keep reading,
and then you'll find out.
Yeah, and he was in DCKO, so yeah, we'll see. I can't tell you more than that, man. You know, I see here it's like, will Aquaman and Mera both have hydrokinetics in the future? I'm not telling you that either. Do you plan on keeping Aquaman? I can't tell you.
There's a lot of sneakiness. I'm noticing a lot of like before we were good. Now I'm seeing some people like, hey, we get you talking. You gonna slip up?
Yeah, I mean that's true. I could be like Tobey Maguire, or not Tobey Maguire, but Tom Holland, whatever the Batman, whatever the Spider-Man actor.
Yeah, the Tom Holland.
You know, hey
guys, I'm okay.
I'm not like, you know, what's funny is because I have so much, I had done so much animation, and there's this guy, he's kind of my PR guy, his name's Gary Mariano, and he would run like convention stuff, and he was hardcore about don't spoil anything. So like I've kind of carried that over, and I've been very good about not spoiling anything. Not like Scott Snyder, who will just absolutely just let people know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll be on a panel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's telling that. And Jock Williamson be like, shut up, Scott, shut up. You know,
what was it? I remember, I think it was like C2E2 back in like 2020. A friend of mine was at a panel. They did like a DC panel, and Tom King was there. Yeah. And apparently Tom was like,
oh,
God. That. And I think he was just throwing out spoilers left and right. And they were like, Tom, they won't let us do this again. Stop.
Yeah, totally. He does that. Yeah, Space Kicker. That's the only social media I'm on now. Space Kicker on Instagram, because everything else is mean.
And you have a Substack
about going to just.
What was that?
And you have a Substack as well, right?
I have a Substack. You can go to my spacekicker.com, though. Every time I go to it, it says this may be a phishing site. I'm like, no, it's not. It's my website. You know, that has links to Substack and Instagram. And but yeah, I have a Substack that if you have questions, if you have more questions about writing or whatever, please let me know. I need something to write about, for goodness sake. I'm not like Chip Zdarsky putting out like epic Substacks every so often.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry, Jar Jar, go for it.
I have to ask almost every writer this, because like I think it's amazing, especially comics wise. There's so much continuity to everything.
Yeah.
So are you like a Drew Malo where all this stuff actually just stays in your head, or do you have a room where like there's lines going from this to this to that to this to that?
Most of it's in my head. There are blind spots I have, obviously. Like I've been reading comics. I mean, continually until about, when was the big bankruptcy for Marvel? It was like 2000, right? Was it no?
Yeah.
It wasn't
2000s, yeah, because then
like,
the Ultimate
no, it was
Marvel.
like 90. It was 96, 98 or something like that, right?
Yeah, because that was around close
right.
time.
And then
Right.
I didn't have any money, and then I ended up around. It was what was the Brad Meltzer one? Help me out with Dr. Light and stuff.
Identity Crisis.
Identity Crisis. Around there, right before Countdown and stuff like that, I dived back into both companies pretty hard. So I have this like gap, but it's very small in this is, you know, the 40 years of comic, you know, 40 plus years of comic reading. So I do have a good base knowledge of all these things. Like when we were doing Green Lantern, the animated series, Jim Krieg, who was the showrunner, he was like, "What do you know about Green Lantern?" I'm like, "Bro, I've been, you know, I was reading all of Jeff's and Pete Tomasi's stuff. I'm like, here's a long box, blam, have fun." Right. I didn't know I was going to be able to write on it, which was great. But I usually have in fact, one of my first jobs, I'm tangenting. I'm sorry. One of my first jobs at this marketing company here in, not first jobs, but when I was in LA, I was hired. My literal title on my card said Marvel Specialist. And I would get paid to just get on calls with studio people asking questions. And I was like, well, you know, Venom's not like that in the comic, you know, and I was like trying to talk them off the ledge of things sometimes, like the Fox Fantastic Four. I remember being like, yeah, you guys, you know, and I'd be like trying to give, well, this is what it is in the comics. And they would go, here's a check. I'm like, this is amazing. You know,
did they call you about Ghost Rider?
No, that was before. I actually like the Ghost Rider in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. though. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah. That was good.
Robbie Reyes.
At the moment when that showed up in that show, when that showed up in the show, that show just got exponentially better. Yeah, like it started twisting and turning.
So many people had already dropped off by then.
I know. Well, I was almost one of them. I felt like I was being held nerd hostage up until like the last couple episodes, and then they twisted. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
It was pretty great.
It was great. Yeah.
Okay. I as much as Leo, I'm sure we have some more comments, but I would like if we could have a little. I was like, I'd like if we could talk a little bit to Jeremy, guys. I swear we'll get to you.
All you want, Drew.
But we want to have a little combo with him too. So, well, I just want to say, I reading Flashpoint Beyond.
Yeah.
What you guys did with that, just expanding the story, I was just blown away. Especially how you, Jeff, I think Tim Sheridan was working with you on that. Just you guys just tying in, like continuing the story in a way that I don't think because I feel like when Flashpoint happened, people were like, oh, and then it happened, and then like it just kind of like became like, it wasn't like a fixed point, but it was there.
Yeah.
People were like, oh, that happened, and then they kind of did what with a lot of DC events, like that happened, moving on.
Right.
Focus on the next flashy big event.
Right.
But then you guys came back to it, you continued to expand it. And small point, the fact that you guys kept referencing Starman, as I'm a huge Starman fan. I don't know if that was Jeff or you or Tim, but kudos.
100% it was probably Jeff. Jeff had a bigger plan. Like the way it all came about was Tim and I had a kind of a sequel Flashpoint idea.
Yeah.
And we went to our editor, and our editor said, what if we got Jeff involved? And we're like, Jeff who? And they were like, Jeff Johns. We're like, are you kidding me? And they're like, would you? Yeah, we'll go meet him for dinner. I'm like, are you kidding? We were all just like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, we had just started. And at the time I had heard you hear stories about people and you don't know if they're true or not,
Right.
And I had heard some tough stuff about Jeff or whatever. And I've never met that guy. Like, he's been unbelievably the nicest human being ever. Incredibly kind, incredibly generous, unbelievably like just mentory without me saying like, could you be my mentor? And so we would go to his office and we'd break on his whiteboard where they did Stargirl and stuff. And we would just come up with stuff. And it was interesting. Like, we had come up with what we were going to do for the first and second issue. And then he came in one day. It's like, we got to stop. We got to change this. And by the way, when we pitched him what we wanted to do, he's like, no, He's like, we're going to do it this way. And he got really excited. And we're all like, oh, okay. Yeah, whatever you want, Jeff Johns.
Right.
Teach us how you write comic books. And so we started a really nice friendship. And then just watching him, Tim and him are much more alike in the way that they write. I think that writers generally have to get to the same place. It's the difference between somebody saying, I want to write a movie about divorce, and it becomes Die Hard, or me, who starts out going like, I want to write a movie about international terrorists that take over this tower and one guy has to take it away. They're both they have to have an emotional angle, but they also have to have a plot driven angle. And I think my brain always thinks plot driven first, and then I have to kind of like, well, what's that emotionally meant? And they're much more, what does this emotionally mean? And then what's the plot that can drive it? So it was a really interesting, just time of collaboration, try to figure out what we were doing together. It was neat.
Do you ever wonder what younger you is thinking of you right now?
Younger me is losing his mind. Are you kidding me?
For real?
I have a picture up there of me with in 1989 with this stand-up of like Michael Keaton Batman. Yeah, it's over there. It's that way. It's 5 by 5 1989 Batman pins that you can see right here. And
if Leo finds a way to control your camera, we're all in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
all my tchotchkes. Yeah, like I can. Yeah, I won't do it. But anyway, I always think 8-year-old me is just like ecstatic. Like he's like, are you kidding me? Like if I told him, he would be losing his mind. Losing it.
I mean, literally, Jeremy, the same way you feel is exactly I and I can't speak for these schmoes, but that's the same way I feel. Like I was like 10 years ago, I was just going to cons, meeting creators like yourself, getting books signed. Now I'm here, we're interviewing, you actually recognize us, and it's like a good thing. It's not like, oh God, this guy's got another stack of books. So it's like, oh yeah, you
for real.
So it's just I think the best thing is that there's just so many ways to connect with the creators, and then we realize you guys are just like us. You curse and you curse, you love the same movies, you too need to occasionally go to the bathroom and hydrate and like the same movies that we do, and you get worried that someone is going to be like you did a great job, this sucks.
Yeah. We're
it's that one guy that
one.
Well, no, Jeremy's terrified of that one guy because he's like, well, but I'll do better.
Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm totally people pleaser. I'm like, but I'll fix it. Please.
I'll fix it.
Don't hate me and
come back.
I mean, I think the reality of the last year is, and sometimes it's just in that moment somebody's mad about something or whatever, and I don't take it too personally, but definitely when it was just like, I mean, people just get really wrapped up and they get really passionate about it. It really comes from a place of passion, because I get passionate about stuff too.
You do.
And I get crazy about it.
If I had
it's hard with screens to realize they're real people or whatever, but I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm doing what I love to do,
Right. I mean, and it's right, because you said it yourself in another interview. You were like, you felt that some of the more successful comic movies are one that stay to the core of the book.
Yeah. And that's what Warner Brothers Animation was always known for, was the fact that we distilled kind of like what these characters are really about. Bruce Timm and James Tucker were really good at that. Butch, Alan Burnett, all those guys were really, really good.
Come to life.
Yeah.
Right.
I bought the box set back in the day. The box set came out. I was like, but now no offense, but sometimes the animation these days from DC, I'm just like,
you got to understand, man. Like, and this is what people don't understand. I was lucky. I'd done the Super Sons movie. Batman
was so good.
Thank you. And those were like, a lot of these budgets are so low, low. And if you saw the restraints that they told us, like you could only have like 3 locations, or like, how am I making an 85-minute movie with 3 locations?
Right.
And you do your best to write it, and then the people that you work with, the consulting producers and directors and storyboard guys, they knock it out of the park. But the money has disappeared a lot because people aren't buying home video, like they're not physical media that used to.
That's true.
Right.
Pay for a lot of that stuff. But I think with like James Gunn coming in, you are getting an elevation with Creature Commandos and some of the, obviously Harley Quinn
Can't wait
and
for
Nightman,
Miracle.
that's
Mr.
getting a little
Miracle.
bigger. Yeah. I think that's going to be really big, really
And
big.
Yeah,
speaking of first thing, me and Leo are huge Super Sons fans. We both loved that movie.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I just also need to point out, because you are in my mind, I love your Easter egg. So I love that Principal Cunningham ends up in Green Lantern issue 11. I was like, I know that guy. I recognize it.
Totally. Yep.
It was, and again, I just need to say, and Leo, I'm going to let you piggyback on this in a second. Boy, did you guys nail John and Damien. Like Damien, spot on. I was like, what a asshole.
Yeah, that's my favorite Damien. It's just like my favorite Guy Gardner. I was like, no, don't let him mature. No.
Like literally, I was like, God, you are such an ass. But I'm rooting for you, you and John. I'm like, oh God.
I mean, that's the Damien that we want, that we need. He needs to be that snarky, pain in the ass kid.
Yeah, absolutely. But Super Sons, again, I that is one of my my recent guilty pleasure, like background music movies. I'll just have it on, and I'm just like, this is a good one. I like this, But just need to say that because when I realized, like, oh my God, another thing of yours that I love. So
thank you.
Yeah, man.
Well, speaking of animation, I know you can't say too much, but it's been announced
I'm
Nightfall.
super excited about it.
Dude,
I've seen it. It's I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second two. I had written the first one. I wrote the outline for the second one, but then it had kind of got shut down because we didn't know what was happening with when James Gunn was coming in or whatever. And then they picked it up years later, and my mentor friend wrote the second one and the third one. But the first one is, it's completely done. I've watched it. It's unbelievable. It's very dark and gritty, and it looks like Batman in Nightfall. Like, Azrael looks like Azrael. Tim Drake has the Tim Drake cool costume. It's a capsule Batmobile. It's pretty gritty. And of course, the first one's Nightfall, and then it's Night Quest and Night's End. And Nightfall, trying to condense like 85 issues of comics into an 85-minute movie was a task, so I'm sure I'll get raked over the coals for what I did miss, but I thought we did a pretty bang up job.
I'm so excited for it because I just need to say, like, I read all of it.
Yeah.
That was hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
It
And
is.
you know what? They realized, hey, we're making money with this. So they just like rolled that baby, like you're like, okay. Tim Drake's dad is next door. Like, you're what?
I just remember reading it and I was just like, oh my God. Like, there was too many side stories and there was some like, oh, cool. And some I was like, I don't care.
I know.
Like, what, like,
I even bought the CD.
There you go. See? But I swear to God, like, literally, it's funny because I said that to my friend. I was like, oh, they're adapting Nightfall. I was like, oh, thank God. We're just going to get condensed. Like, I was like, you all are lucky. You're going to get a condensed version of what I spent like a month and a half reading. And you got to get to the end. You got to see how he does it. And I was like, okay, cool. We did this. Moving on. Like,
my buddy Rick Morales is the one who kind of produced it, and he's the one who did Supergirls. He's the one who did the Mortal Kombat movies with me.
Right.
We've just done so many movies, and it's his baby through and through, and it's really good. It's really good.
We're good. Good.
Yeah.
Good advertisement there.
You were complaining about the length. As long as it's not Fear State, it's
God damn it, let it go, Leo.
I was just gonna say, I know, Jar Jar, you mentioned the animation. It definitely took a hard turn for a while, but I think like you said, Jeremy, what we're getting right now, Creature Commandos, My Adventures of Superman, the Kite Man, and Harley Quinn.
I agree with all that.
He's killing it with animation right now.
Yeah. But I think that's because Sam Register, who runs Warner Animation, the cool thing about him is he really puts the power in the hands of the creatives. And I can't tell you this much because I work with a lot of different animation, a lot over different IPs or whatever. And at Warner Brothers, it was like you kind of had the guy that was producing it, and like an executive, and that was like it. And then it would, that producer would go to the director and the storyboard guys and whatever, but but there was so limited amount of notes to shut you down. It was such a collaborative experience of people. We're all just trying to make this the best we can, but you didn't have like weird corporate notes that would come in sometimes. Like, well, we got to sell this toy. We got to do this, and that can totally just defang things a lot of times, which suck, but and really lets it go.
And if we can kind of segue in animation to something that I want to touch on as a big fan is your work on Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah.
Because when we were at our panel last year, which everybody check out our YouTube if you want to check that out. It was awesome. Yeah, we touched on Scoobynatural, so you gave us the whole story. That was awesome. But doing a little bit more research, I didn't realize that you had done a sequel to. You had done the sequel to.
You want to get me killed again? Okay, great. Yeah, this is the one that everybody gets mad at me for, and I'm like, I'm just a freelance writer.
Okay, I didn't even realize this was a thing because I remember because you were talking about working on it.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that as a kid and just I was like, how is this a Scooby-Doo?
Right.
Like it was the scariest thing. I thought about that and Boo Brothers. I was like,
yeah, the first one is such a departure because
it
was like, oh no, they're real monsters, and that was never Scooby-Doo.
Mm-hmm.
And the producer, my friend, the guy who I wrote Scoobynatural with, he is like diehard old school.
Yeah, Jim Krieg, right?
Yeah, Jim. He's like, no, the whole point of this is to show kids that monsters are just people in masks and that they can overcome it. That's the whole point of Scooby-Doo. So, I think when they asked us to do a sequel, if you watch it, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's not it's not Zombie Island.
Right.
It's much more a meta thing. And it was one of the hardest projects I've ever done. I had to kind of rewrite the outline like 3 times based on 3 different people we thought we were going to get. Like, oh, maybe we'll get Stephen King as a guest star. Maybe we'll get, and I was like, are you kidding me? And then it was like, somebody wasn't happy with it. So they were going to fire me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never been fired of anything. It was probably one of the hardest things. And then Rick came in and then we ended up turning into this kind of fun meta take on Zombie Island, but even that had changes. Like I had Velma in the original draft. She was going to burn all the ships leaving the island because she couldn't believe that this was a real monster, so she needed to figure it out. And she'd be damned if anybody left before they did. Wow. And they made us change that. And so sometimes they're good, sometimes they're hard. And
listen, funny. I thought you did again. I just want to say, as a lifelong Scooby fan, which I want to say, if you, Jim, Rick, if you guys ever do some pup named Scooby-Doo, going back, that is my shut up. And I watched all that as a kid, every episode. Yeah. Every once in a while, I'd be like, it was red herring. Just to wait to see if somebody gets the reference.
Yeah.
I have yet to find somebody. So if you're listening and I make that joke and you happen to be at the same con as me, that will make my fucking weekend. But just again, Scooby, you got Scoobynatural had it. I thought you guys just had it. And I even didn't know there was a 13 Ghosts. I was like, wow, these are diehard fans.
We were going to do we were calling it the Thrilogy, and it was supposed to go from the 13 Ghosts. Let's wrap that up, Return to Zombie Island, and then we had a second one. But then they ended up doing a shift with people.
Okay.
And Max Adams ended up taking it out. And then I had even gotten paid. I did a Scoobynatural 2 that I was paid to write, and I wrote. And I was crazy.
What?
Yeah. And
oh my God.
It's bananas. It was the reverse. It was the guys being stuck in. It was a Scooby-Doo that happened to have the supernatural guys.
Oh wow, amazing. Well, listen,
I know. I promise I'd only be an hour, but I've been longer. So.
No, you're good. You're good.
No. I'll give you like 2 more questions. I'll give you like 2 more questions.
But on top of it, like you said, the Scooby-Doo almost killed you, but at least you got to work with Elvira.
Yeah, well, and Tim Sheridan used to write for Elvira.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
You should just get on the show because he has a very hilarious, storied career.
Okay. I did not know that. That was because seeing that, I was like, is that Elvira? And I'm like, yep, this tracks.
Yeah.
Go.
I think Carrie had 2 more questions, and then we should do. I have a lightning round of questions as well.
We can do lightning round.
Let's go. Let's do this.
Let's hustle.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, go for it, Carrie.
Go, Carrie.
I'm going to actually combine these because it's basically the same question. So 5 Fonton 22 and Which Presentation 6 are both curious to know if you'll be getting the Hawkman title to explore the Horus storyline and whether they can expect to have it developed if there is no book.
No, not from me, but I keep pushing that story forward anyways. I don't know if anybody's doing a Hawkman book. So in the meantime, I'm like, between me and what Morgan's doing in Green Lantern Corps, I think we're just kind of like pushing that story. You know, we had Mogo, take out Thanagar again.
Right.
And, the dream, this kind of Battlestar Galactica vibe of like, we're going to tell you where your new planet is and you're going to come and do that. I think originally we wanted more. I wanted to have more with the idea that, these Thanagarians were refugees on Ran would have been really interesting because they've been hated enemies in or at least tense. I thought that was going to be interesting. But again, I try to throw that stuff out there and hoping other people pick it up in terms of creators, because that's what I do. If somebody says something out there, I try to like pick it up and like use it in my own book. But so far, no. So maybe I'll just have to end up weaving that into Aquaman and tell that story. Just be like, okay, I'm telling it.
There you go.
That's awesome.
One of the YouTubers, hello, what were your influences while writing on Lego Monkey Kid? Were there any ideas you wanted to include but couldn't?
Oh, tons. That was another kind of like weirdly tough project. If you guys don't know, Lego approached me with these kind of like characters. They're going to do a toy line that was organic for China. And I was like 100%. And I wrote this pitch and these characters, and I read The Journey to the East, and then they sent me to China, and there's a documentary about it on Amazon, which is really funny, even though it skews. They're like, Jeremy, we're just going to put a microphone on you for a couple days. No, it was like a whole week. It was wild. But and the documentary kind of skews to like, I did something wrong at a certain point. I'm like, no, this was not me. There was the animation team completely boffoed my script,
Amazing.
But it was weird. It was weird because you're like, hey, this is what the journey to the West story is about. And I pitched it in front of a lot of these Chinese businessmen or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we don't want that. We want, we want it to be a more fun loving thing. So there was a bunch of ideas. I had a whole different, I did 3 seasons before they moved on and let the animation group take over. And I had a totally different plot for what I wanted to do that really kept true to what was happening with Monkey King. So it was just one of those weird things. It was a great experience. I loved it.
Are you a gamer?
What was that?
Are you a gamer?
Oh, dude. If we talk about gamer, we're going to be a long time. I was playing Fortnite for a long time, and now I'm playing Arc Raiders, and that tells you all about humanity. You want to know? Together. Oh my gosh, Fortnite's fun, but Arc Raiders right now is sucking my life away. And my brother and I are just screaming and watching burnt peanut clips. It's bad. It's terrible.
Oh boy.
The reason why I brought it up, you mentioned Journey to the West, Black Myth Wukong. Have you played that?
No.
It's the story, Journey to the West. And
really?
It is one of the most beautiful and amazing games. It's a Souls-like game, but it's
I can't play those games.
No. It's better than a Souls because you can level up your character and eventually like totally devastated it. But action game, and it's amazing. Definitely check it out. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Well, actually, Leo, I want to piggyback on something that we exclusively did that I know made our guests' day. How's that copy of Nick Fury?
Oh yeah. Thank you for that. I'm recapturing my youth of like TV movies that I wasn't allowed to watch as a young person. But thank you.
It's funny because that was 100% a group thing because Carrie watches. It was John's show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she watches Word Balloon and they referenced that. And she was like, oh, guys, if we can find this, that. And Leo is like an internet bloodhound. And just,
thank you guys.
Well,
this is great because like I asked for like the theatrical cut of Highlander and I got that too. So I'm just going to keep talking about things that I wanted to see, you know.
I'm like a data hoarder. So I went through at one point and got like, you know, everything DC like made I have. So it's
good. Yeah. And when he means everything, it means especially when we went to Marvel, like I'm pretty sure I saw Roger Corman's Fantastic Four on there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy.
That was one that was always sold at Comic-Con and like a bootleg tape, you know, every time you go.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go. My kids.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. Well, you know what? Listen, Jeremy, thank you so much for the time, man. It was awesome. So as you gotta go as the little ones are at, what are some of the cons again you're going to, and what's some of the best way people can follow you on social media?
So I'm going to MegaCon in a week. I'm going to C2E2 a week after that. I'll be at San Diego. I'll probably be at New York. You can also follow me on Instagram under Space Kicker, but you can also go to my Substack and follow that. And if you have questions, you have more questions that weren't answered, especially about writing and stuff. I've put out a few that I talked about how I write, but also you can ask more questions there and I'll be happy to answer them.
Dope as fuck, man. Thank you again. Seriously, buddy. Really appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna wrap things up, so definitely check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Check out our website. We got a whole page on Jeremy with a bunch of information on him. And we'll close it on out. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.